What's up, Space Pirates? This is your Admiral, the ever-charming Dr. Disaster. And, full disclosure, I have probably only played about 2 hours of Minecraft in my entire life, and even then, when I did, it was just because my kids wanted to show me stuff. I've watched them play for plenty of time, but suffice to say, I'm not exactly a big fan of the game or anything like that, so when my kids begged me to take them to the movie this weekend, I agreed, but inside I was thinking,
oh goody.
But honestly, it wasn't the worst movie in the world. The kids laughed basically the whole time, and I chuckled at a few of the jokes that were obviously more aimed at the adults. There were a few parts in the movie that were kinda cringy, forced girl boss moments that made me roll my eyes just a little bit. It was kinda reminiscent of what we saw with Peach in the Mario Brothers movie, where she was made to be the bestest ever, but they only showed it sparingly in Minecraft, so it wasn't enough to sabotage the movie. All in all, I'd personally give Minecraft a C- or something like that. It was vaguely watchable to me, but I'm not the target audience, not in the slightest. And the target audience? In other words, the kids? They freaking loved it, which is why the movie made a shocking $300 million on its opening weekend.
Holy crap!
To be clear, this movie was bigger than the Super Mario Brothers movie last year, which went well over $1 billion. This needs to be a lesson to all the filmmakers out there. If you're adapting a well-known property into a movie, all you need to do is respect the source material and aim the movie toward the hardcore fans who love the franchise. Don't try to fundamentally change it, and things will tend to work out in your favor.
Shut up and take my money!
The alternative is being like Snow White, where they changed damn near everything down to the freaking name of the movie. They didn't want to call it Snow White and the Seven Dwarves because they didn't want to offend short people. Well, as a result of being insufferably subversive, Snow White's box office numbers were terrible before, but now that actual competition has entered the market, their numbers have come to a grinding halt, and it isn't clear whether or not they will do much more than $200 million on a movie which reportedly cost $270 million to make. And it was probably more than that, especially if you factor in marketing. And for those of us who have been watching Disney butcher franchises that we love left and right, well, our schadenfreude is really kicking in right now. Alright, me hearties, make sure you hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also, please consider supporting the channel by becoming a member. Audiobook of a dark fantasy novel I've written will be available for members first very soon, and there is also a space pirate cartoon that I'm working on. The thing is, I realize it's important that we not just complain about what we don't like. Alternatives must be provided. So, I humbly ask that you consider becoming a member of the channel, which the monthly cost of doing so comes out to being a fraction of the cost of your daily cup of coffee. But anyhow, let's look at the numbers for these movies from this past weekend so we can have a good laugh at Snow White's expense. Let's look at Minecraft first in this article here from the Associated Press. It says, Hollywood needed a Minecraft movie to be a hit, and it delivered in its opening weekend, significantly narrowing this year's box office deficit. No one guessed just how big it would be in its first few days in theaters. The movie earned a staggering $157 million in ticket sales from theaters in the US and Canada, according to studio estimates Sunday. Internationally, it's looking at an additional $144 million for a global debut of $301 million. And with school spring breaks ongoing, a Minecraft movie is just getting started. We're just thrilled that audiences are responding and that everyone's going to the theater, said Pamela Abdi, the co-chair and CEO of the Warner Brothers Movie Picture Group. Not only is it the biggest opening of 2025, a Minecraft movie also broke the record for a video game adaptation, a distinction previously held by the Super Mario Bros. Movie with $146 million domestically. Going into the weekend, analysts projected Minecraft might hit $80 million. Instead, it nearly doubled that figure, and frankly, that is just more evidence as to how out of touch the analysts in the industry are. How did they not pick up the buzz on this movie? At my household, my kids were talking about this thing for a week straight. That's all they talked about. If I hear the words chicken jockey again one more time, my eyes might roll back into my head so far that they get stuck. Granted, this is anecdotal evidence, but there were clearly a lot of households like mine where there were kids very excited to see this movie. And keep in mind that these so-called industry analysts who predicted around $80 million domestically for Minecraft, at one point, that was roughly what they were predicting for Snow White, but they eventually adjusted their prediction down to closer to where Snow White ended up being. But think about that. They didn't see that much of a difference between Snow White and Minecraft. And yet, in one weekend, Minecraft has roughly doubled what Snow White has made with 3 weekends. And speaking of that third weekend for Snow White, let's check in on it and see how it's doing. This article is from Forbes. It reads, Snow White earned $42.2 million in its opening frame at the domestic box office, far below early tracking projections. The film dropped 66% in business last weekend with a $14.3 million take for a second-place finish behind Jason Statham's action thriller A Working Man, which earned $15.5 million in its opening weekend. Now, with the mammoth opening of a Minecraft movie this weekend, it appears that audiences looking for PG family fare are all heading to the mystical realm known as Overland that originated in the video game Minecraft instead of the Seven Dwarfs mine. As such, Snow White is projected by Deadline to earn $5.7 million at the domestic box office in its third weekend frame for a fourth-place finish at the domestic box office. And yes, you heard that right, folks. Snow White made less than $6 million for the entire weekend. Minecraft has crushed what little interest there was in that movie, and I think the difference in how these films have done boils down quite simply to how they handled their respective franchises. Rachel Zegler was quite vocal about how she was opposed to the original Snow White film. Disney made a bunch of controversial changes, and the movie flopped big time. Meanwhile, say whatever else you want about the Minecraft movie. I know a lot of people don't care for it. I know a lot of people don't like it, but here are the facts. It played to its audience. The filmmakers were clearly passionate about the IP. On the ride home from the theater this weekend, my kids talked incessantly about all the cameos they recognized from streamers who are synonymous with the Minecraft brand. They loved all the references to various things in the game. It was exactly what they wanted, which is why the makers of this film now have a likely billion-dollar box office on their hands. But I'm gonna leave it there. Drop your mockery of Snow White and your thoughts on Minecraft into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching me, Hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.